How to select the right type of battery for your boat. It gets a little daunting when you go into a retailer and you look at all the different styles and types of batteries they have. We'll kind of put it into perspective a little bit for you. Probably the basic and what's been around the longest is the flooded lead acid battery. Another type of battery is an absorbed glass mat or AGM battery. And then fairly new to the market is the lithium battery. The flooded lead acid by far has been around the most. It's probably the most affordable or least expensive, and just as its name applies, there's lead plates in there which are submerged in acid or electrolyte. They can be found in most big box retailers. On average last maybe 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4 years, depending on the quality of charger you have. The Minn Kota PCL charger is a very good charger to maintain these batteries and get the life you expect out of them. The AGM, or absorbed glass mat, somewhat similar to the lead acid. The main difference is the electrolytes is absorbed into the plates in the battery. So they're virtually maintenance free. There's no worry about spilling any harmful chemicals. They are considerably heavier and usually twice the cost of a lead acid battery. And new to the market is the lithium batteries. The advantages of the lithium batteries is they're probably half the weight of a lead acid or AGM. They'll last considerably longer, up to 10 to 12 years. And the discharge rate on lithium batteries is virtually non-existent. So they'll put out a constant 12 plus volts for the duration of the life of the battery until it needs another recharge. The other thing to keep in mind of, even though they are considerably more expensive, if you average out the cost of these batteries per year, over the lifespan of a lithium battery, you might find out it's pretty comparable to either an AGM or a lead acid. When choosing a lead acid battery, for your trolling motor power supply, it's important to choose a deep cycle battery. The reason being is deep cycle batteries are manufactured or designed to put out a slow discharge over a long extended amount of time. Versus a starting battery, they're designed for a quick discharge to get your outboard started. It gets a little intimidating trying to figure out what size battery you should get. And it's a marine industry, there's 3 types. There's a 24, 27, and a 31 size battery. And across the board, most manufacturers, the physical dimensions of those batteries would be very similar. As far as the deep cycle batteries go, Minn Kota recommends a group 27 size. Other things to consider is the size of the compartments in your boat where those batteries will be replaced. If your boat physically can't handle 27s, you might have to jump down to a 24. Battery size is also related to the amount of capacity the battery has. So the bigger the battery, the more capacity it has, the more energy you have stored, and the longer you can run. So in other words, this is a 100 amp hour battery. So let's say our trolling motor on a constant draw is pulling 20 amps of power. So this particular battery will drive that trolling motor for 5 hours. So 20 amps per hour, 100 divided by 20 equals 5. So 5 hours of runtime using this particular battery. A couple safety points that we want to point out: never connect the positive and negative posts together on the same battery. The other thing you want to be aware of when you're installing this in your boat, you want to be sure that nothing can fall on top of these batteries, shorting or arcing between the 2 posts. A lot of hatches in boats have a metal bottom side of the lid, and to protect that, it's strongly recommended, in fact it's required by the United States Coast Guard, to use some sort of battery post cover once your battery is installed. Another safety feature is to always use a circuit breaker just to protect the wire running from your trolling motor batteries up to or back to your trolling motor. At the end of the season here in the Midwest, it's always a good idea to pull the batteries out of your boat. If that's not an option, make sure they're fully charged and disconnect the leads from the battery. Another thing to make note of is you never want to tie in your trolling motor power supply with your starting battery. So Minn Kota always recommends having individual or separate batteries, deep cycle batteries, to power up your Minn Kota trolling motor. So hopefully that answers any questions you might have on your next battery purchase.